So tonight is Donald Trump's State of the Union address, where he is going to get up in front of a bunch of people and just bullshit himself through a speech. Now, I have very little interest in the actual Trump speech, but I am interested in the response. So Stacey Abrams is going to have the official Democratic response, and then Bernie Sanders is going to have his own stream with his response following Stacey Abrams on his Facebook and Twitter feeds, which is what he normally does. But apparently, this is an issue for some people. Now, there are good faith critiques about this and bad faith critiques, so I want to go through both. Now, let's start off by being clear here. Bernie Sanders has been doing this since, I think, 2016. He has responded. He as usual, he responds. He has his own response to whatever speech is going on. So if Trump gives a speech, Bernie Sanders has his response, and his response usually follows whatever the official Democratic Party response is. So last time when Trump gave his speech during the shutdown, there was Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, and then following that, Bernie Sanders gave his own response, again, streamed on his Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages. Like usual, the media didn't cover it. They don't care about Bernie Sanders. But the critique about Bernie following Stacey Abrams here is that somehow he will steal the thunder away from Stacey Abrams, which is just completely ridiculous. But first, let me show you how this all started, how this entire manufactured controversy all started. So I want to show you this tweet from Beth, who I think you should follow. She is a great follow on Twitter. She tweets out, "How do you manufacture false outrage? Share Blue, along with The Hill, released tweets that Bernie would talk the same time as Abrams. That's a lie. They did this on purpose. Share Blue is David Brock's site, who spent millions to smear Bernie in 2016. Please pay attention." And to give you an example, I'll show you one of the screenshots here. This is from an executive at Share Blue. She tweeted out, "Oh my God." Quote, "Sanders, who is an independent but caucuses with Democrats, will be delivering his response at the same time that former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams delivers the official Democratic Party response." Yeah, that's not true. So that's a complete lie, and it was shared by people at Share Blue, which again, this is the group that helped smear Bernie Sanders in 2016. So this is how the whole controversy started. The idea that Bernie Sanders would have his response at the same time as Stacey Abrams. Now, when that was pointed out that that was bullshit, it didn't matter. The controversy had already been manufactured. So let me show you first a bad faith critique about what Bernie is doing. So this is from Amy Siskind. She tweeted out, "Why is he talking over the black woman our party chose to speak for us?" Now, this is hilarious because Amy Siskind voted for John McCain over Barack Obama in 2008. Let me show you an article that she wrote in 2009. Should women back Palin in 2012? Obama garnered 56% of the women's ballots last fall, and they have precious little to show for it from this administration. Amy Siskind on why Sarah Palin deserves a second look. Now, here's a quote from the article. "I'm a lifelong Democrat who for the first time in my life voted Republican in the 2008 elections. I did this for one reason. McCain selected a woman as his running mate." So Amy Siskind is just a complete grifter. She's a fraud. She makes up these controversies to create attention for herself. So this is somebody, again, voted for John McCain, voted for a Republican for the first time against a black presidential candidate. Yet here she is talking like, "Oh, Bernie, how dare you take attention away from Stacey Abrams?" It's really weird. And you can tell this is not a good faith critique. Now, because I find these bad faith critiques really uninteresting, these are just very one-dimensional people, let me show you some good faith critiques. So some people I respect here. Mark Lamont Hill, who I have a lot of respect for, tweeted this out. "This is a bad move, especially assuming he's going to run. It only reinforces the idea that Bernie is not serious about representing the interests of the Democratic Party. It also reads as racially tone-deaf, as Stacey Abrams becomes the first black woman to deliver the response." Now, he goes on to also say how this is not about Bernie's intentions. I don't think he's critiquing. He doesn't think Bernie is doing this in bad faith. but that because of the optics, because of how it might look, that Bernie shouldn't do it. But they're wrong. I mean, the critiques about this, the controversy around this is wrong. Again, Bernie Sanders, his responses are never covered by the media. There is in no way is he taking any thunder, any attention away from Stacey Abrams whatsoever. He simply streams his response on his own social pages. This is not, trying to steal Stacey Abrams' thunder or take any attention away from her response. He has been doing these responses to all these speeches, to every speech, since at least 2016. So I understand. Look, this raises the question, right? Should you respond to how things may look, even if they're wrong? So even if the critique is incorrect, should you still react to it? I say no. Bernie, his entire life, the reason why he is so respected now is because he was doing things back then that were not popular at the time. He is a principled human being. He actually cares about people, cares about addressing real issues like income inequality and various other issues. I mean, he supported gay rights back in the 80s. So this is somebody who has never cared about what other people think. He cares about what is the moral correct thing to do. So in this situation, when there is an incorrect controversy or a bad faith controversy around what he is doing, should he respond to it because some people may not like that he's doing it? I don't think so. Because the people that don't like it, at least the vast majority of people that are critiquing Bernie Sanders about this or attacking Bernie about this, are doing so because they didn't like Bernie to begin with. If he wasn't doing this, they'll find something else to attack him over. So this idea that he should respond to the haters, I don't buy it. Now let me show you another response, another critique of a good faith critique of Bernie here from someone that, again, I respect. This is Ben Dixon. I've had him on my radio show. I agree with him probably 98% of the time. Here is his tweet about this. Let me help some of you think this through. 1, Bernie isn't going to say anything we haven't heard over the past 3 years. 2, so is the value add from his speech greater than the political price that will be extracted, whether you think it's fair or not? The answer is no. So number 1 is likely true. I mean, Bernie Sanders has been sort of saying the same things forever, but it's important that he has because people are finally beginning to hear them. But again, if you want to say that he's just going to say the same thing over again, okay, I don't disagree there. Number 2, the political price. So this again goes to bad optics. Are there really that many people that are even aware of this? Again, this is not being shown on television. The media never covers Bernie Sanders, never covers his responses. How exactly, what is the political price here? I mean, it would be weird if Bernie didn't have a response. He's had responses to every other speech. If he didn't have a response this time, it would be kind of odd. So to feel like you have to react to a manufactured crisis, I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Now, you would have more of an argument if Bernie Sanders, on when he did these responses, if they were covered by the media, if they were covered live, and maybe you think, hey, let Stacey Abrams have her response and have the media discuss it and have their whole attention focused on Stacey Abrams and her response, and make sure. And Bernie Sanders shouldn't be getting in there because the media will, as usual, in this fake world, the media, as usual, will cover what Bernie Sanders has to say. But they never cover what Bernie has to say. All of this is about nothing. This entire controversy is completely nothing. I mean, everybody is going to forget this in a week. So I just feel like, even though this whole controversy is really nothing, I do find the conversation interesting because it's about bad optics and should we respond to bad faith critiques, even if those bad faith critiques, I mean, inherently are incorrect. I just don't. Again, I I just think if you keep giving into bad faith critiques, they're going to keep moving the goalposts. So these people that created the controversy, that are attacking Bernie over this, as I said, they're going to attack him on something else anyways. I mean, this is just, again, completely nothing. Now, let me show you some people that are on my side now. So this is a response from Washington Post opinion columnist Liz Brunegg. She tweeted out, "Do you think zero Democrats will tweet, speak, or issue press releases after the State of the Union? Do you think anyone will value Abrams' response any less because other Democrats also responded? I know I won't." So before I get to the next tweet here, yeah, this is completely right. Democrats are going to be on Twitter, are going to be interviewed on different networks, and they're going to be asked for their response. So should all Democrats completely just have a media blackout? After Trump has his speech, should no Democrats tweet anything? Should no Democrats be interviewed on television? Should no Democrats have any response whatsoever? Just let Stacey Abrams have her response? No, that would be absolutely ridiculous. So to single out Bernie Sanders and target him and say, oh, you shouldn't have your response, even though you have done this for the past few years. You shouldn't have your response, even though every other Democrat is going to have their response during and after the State of the Union, whether through Twitter, whether they're interviewed in media, wherever. So again, it shows you just how manufactured this controversy is. Now, let me get to another response here. This is Dave Weigel of the Washington Post. He tweeted out, "Sanders has been giving State of the Union responses since he was a candidate, which is in 2017, 2018, meant he was speaking after the Dem designated white dude. This is a ludicrous controversy." Yeah, again, I mean, just echoing what I've been saying. Wendy Muse tweeted this out. She's kind of a little more on the fence, but also doesn't really seem to care. She tweets out, "Feel however you want to feel about the Abrams then Sanders State of the Union address. I honestly don't care either way, but understand that most, though not all, of the people freaking out about this are doing it to generate controversy, not because they care about Abrams." 100%. So this is sort of how I feel about it. I don't care either way. If Bernie decides not to do his response, I don't care. If he decides to do a response, I don't care. The State of the Union and everything surrounding it is all, I think, just a lot of it is just bullshit. I mean, again, we are talking about Donald Trump giving a speech. We already kind of know what to expect. We already know it's going to be full of lies. We already know that Donald Trump does not have good intentions. I mean, this... do people even remember the last one he gave? He is just his whole persona is just a bullshitter. That's who he is. So let everyone have a response or let nobody respond. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. But what does matter is to understand that people, politicians or anyone else, should not be giving in to bad faith critique, should not be giving in to manufactured controversies. You have to stand strong with what you believe in and what you know to be correct. There is nothing at all wrong with Bernie Sanders giving his own response to the State of the Union streamed on his own social media pages following Stacey Abrams' response. Again, when you consider that every other Democrat is going to have the response on Twitter, or they're going to be interviewed in media, or they may even have their own responses on social media, the idea that Bernie has his own response that to the State of the Union, that this is somehow a controversy at all, is just absolutely ridiculous.